光明、严明，这快不灵活。光明呢？哦，他当个啥的，咱们这光过了的，这能多你过的，你全部内陆出的了，能多地方啊，忙光嘛，这地方常常生，公光哪怕到茶园过了的，这是我还好了的，我这生能把到的，你能得他们这叫光过了而已。사기 선택의 기발, 여러 고미, 제일 이마 고미 고지, 영미들 도마를 하고 심어서 오지 오, 선나 가다리서 나고 제다마지 심어서 오지 그 정말 내그 마정의 재미도 사들 주변에가 잘도 소리가 같이 오지 저거 심어서 오지 양전에 내가 잘 일티만 내가 상황 놓고 영미들이 심어서거든. 요만 요새 심어서고 딱 방식인 거래. 원미 영미.
And so here it says non-meditation and non-distraction, and so these terms are also important. And so non-meditation. First of all, meditation, we meditate on all kinds of things. We meditate visualizing different deities. We meditate on different deities. And that is all an antidote to our discursive thoughts. And then, once we have calmed down those thoughts and we directly observe the nature of the mind, as you rest within that nature, there sometimes is a space where past thoughts have ceased and the future thoughts have not yet arisen. And this space is the empty mind that abides like space. And there is a empty essence, it's space like nature. And that is the nature that you must preserve, continue to remain within, and nothing else actually must be done or generated. So it is nothing to be meditated upon. The mind as it is and the mind of all the Buddhas is the same. So to rest within non-meditation is to rest with awareness within the empty mind and sustaining the clear knowing awareness that clearly knows itself. It knows that itself has a space like nature. And if you can uphold this awareness, this clarity, and then mindfulness, clarity will remain. But if you become distracted and do not hold this natural state, you will lose your awareness. And when you become unaware, for example, sometimes we have to do really important things, and then sometimes it happens that when we do those important things that we lose our awareness and we become distracted, and then whatever we do, we will make many mistakes because we have no awareness. And so to remain free from distraction is to always uphold this awareness, that clear knowing awareness that recognizes itself. And so that awareness that recognizes its empty nature must be always upheld.
那在刚才所说的那一句当中呢，有说到要维持有时无修善宝刃，也就是我们的心性呢，要维持无修的状态，然后呢不要被其他的事情所干扰。当我们一般在做禅修的时候呢， 我们比如说观想本尊、禅修本尊，那这些呢，其实这样子修持的目的呢，是为了要帮助我们对治我们的各种烦恼习气。一旦呢心能够安顿下来之后呢，我们跟着就要好好的观察关照自心，然后呢安住在那个自然本觉的状态。那在过去的念头消失之后，以及在未来的念头升起之前呢，会有一段就是无念的这个空档。那我们就是要一直尽量的安住在这个无念的这个状态当中，然后呢，实际上呢也就没有任何需要禅修的对境，因为呢对不起，那所有佛的心呢都是相同的，所以我们就这样子安住在无修的状态当中。这个状态呢是一种非常清明的觉知，然后一种空性，还有就是一种了了分明的觉知。我们就一直持续的要维持在这样子的一个清明的状态当中。那当这个清明的觉知呢能够不断的维持，那可是如果呢一旦我们受到干扰呢，我们失去这样子的觉知呢，就我们可能因为想做其他认为重要的事情，所以呢我们受到干扰而失去了清明的觉知呢，我们有时候可能就会犯错或者是做错事情。所以呢我们要提醒，就是要关照自心，然后呢维持在这个了了分明的觉知状态当中，并且呢要认出就是这个空性的本质，并且呢要维持住它。
大地空松啊，那车子去的少上去，没人就嘛到了，你搞脏，人嘛多，对了，这个可能很多没吧。这个人就没打败吧，还讲呢，这里这个可能3个把里，这个这差异上马上都没了做，多呢，差当的多吧，这都多吧，他这么多的，这什么你管的呀？人不能嘛差了，你管了，马当嘛生那个都把这把这了多的，我是话的弟，你要过去，你都过去那些，咱们乱的把上去。没法生到了那块人的都把这个老的什么，这就光说了这里吃个有的，没那日把个，几多要钱没了，当马龙都去办一的，那块的几多可能就把有嘛的，那块有完没了，那你什么。
And then it says, recite within an effortless state that transcends the intellect. And so when one has, when you then have habituated to the view that is, when you have habituated remaining in the natural state, then all those activities in this world and also in the activities of the Dharma, everything will seem just like a dream or like an illusion. It is just something that temporarily arises. But it all has no essence, no truth to it. Whatever appears is a compound and impermanent. And realizing that, one has no thoughts that think about accomplishing or not accomplishing something. There is no hope or attachment in order to accomplish something. And there is no suffering or pain if one doesn't accomplish something. One then realizes that all those feelings of aversion and happiness, suffering, happiness, attachment, and so on, all of that are only thoughts in the mind, mental arisings, and they lack any true substance. And realizing the lack of inherent existence of those feelings, the mind will not get bound by it. So one will not fall under bondage. And the mind will be able to remain within the space-like nature. And that is the meaning of transcending the intellect. It is to remain within the space-like nature. There is no grasping to any reality. For example, there is no thought of this is good or this is bad. The mind just really abides like space. And that experience happens when one habituates their meditation for a long time. Milarepa said there is no difference between happiness and suffering, or joy and sorrow, and that is the perfect instruction. Because within space there is no difference between, from the perspective of space, there is no happiness or no suffering. Space just remains as it is unmovingly.
那跟着那一句呢是无作乐心状念诵。那当我们能够习于就是保任这个自心本性的这个觉知状态呢，任何一切世间的活动，甚至是佛法活动呢，它看起来都像是梦或者是幻觉一样。它只是短暂的升起，并没有真实存在的意义。任何显现的事物呢，任何外在显现的物体呢，其实都是无常的。只要了悟这一点呢，那一个人呢，他就不会说执着于想要达到某种成就、成功，也不会说有所希求，或者是升起很多的痛苦。那因为他了解到说，所有的这种感受、快乐、执着呢，这些念头，心中的念头呢，其实都是缺乏自信的。那了悟到说，这些念头、情绪呢，都是非自性存在的。这个人呢，他就不会去受到这些念头的束缚，并且呢，能够一直维持在有如虚空的这个自心本性当中，不会去执着外在的显现。那这样子呢，他就不会升起好或坏的想法，那心就会一直安住在自心本性当中。密勒日巴尊者他曾经说过，并没有快乐和痛苦的分别，这样子才是最圆满的。因为呢，在虚空当中呢，是没有快乐或痛苦的分别的。
And then and it says, we talked about the first part of the next line, and then the last line here says, how wondrous is the truth body of self-knowing awareness, or the truth body is the Dharmakaya. And so the mind, what this is to say is that the mind itself is the Buddha, and therefore Maitreya said, the mind that is the mind that has nothing to remove and nothing to add to it, that mind is the Buddha. And when you recognize the clear and pure nature of the mind, that nature has no stains that must be removed, and there's no need to add or to obtain some enlightened qualities. That nature itself is the Dharmakaya.
在接下来的那一行呢，最后的一句，几觉法身大其汉。那心呢，本质就是具有佛性。弥勒菩萨曾经说过呢，在我们的心绪当中，没有任何需要增添或者是减少的东西，因为它的本质呢就是佛性，就是佛，它的本质就是佛。当我们能够认出心清净的本质之后呢，实际上呢是没有任何需要去除或者是增加的东西，因为呢它的本质就是法身。
홍종님 보사지라고 하거든요. 첫째다 그랬다. 이것이 제가 보고 말이에요. 그다음에 산지에서 생신이 생시에 찍느냐는 소 상마지에는 도와로도 소수 라적 하다 초는 차문종 차대들아 유목은 돌아지. 제가 진짜 사지에 살고 산지에 담지에 유목은 등에 도와로도 담지라. 상민지 친구들에 이 상민도 친구들이 또 그렇게 나서도 나중에 매발치네 나서 대신인데 배에서 홍로를 인기들한 거 무슨 수식이지나 인기가 나중에 가라고 그래. 오 세계에서 상민들랑 되지나 대그들이 이는 인기는 라그 나중에 싶네. 그 라그 세대로 보고 라그 생각하 보고 시카고라고 사족석을 하고 차요. 사족석이 많다데 시카고 하고 그래야지. 딱 소리 진심도 정부서 좀 쳤겠구나. 뭔가서 답하시는 정부서 성으로 동나. 그렇지.
And then the next line, the first part is quite clear. We are in the last line on page 28, and then in the very end it says, and guide us to the Pure Land of Sukhavati. And so, although Buddhas and sentient beings have a single basis, a single ground, their mind is the same, sentient beings temporarily have not realized that, and they take on form in the 6 realms of samsara, and they become like blocks of ice in the water. And the Buddhas have cultivated great compassion for sentient beings, and through the power of great love and compassion, self-grasping is destroyed. So when you cultivate compassion, self-grasping collapses, and when you cultivate this again and again, when you give rise to compassion for sentient beings, for others, over and over again, also your own self-grasping will be destroyed, and also it will benefit other sentient beings. And when your own self-grasping comes to an end, then you will see the nature of your mind, and then you will realize the nature of the Pure Land, because the Pure Land is the embodiment of bodhicitta. And so therefore, if you cultivate bodhicitta, actually the moment you cultivate bodhicitta, you will see the Pure Land.
在28页最后一行最后一句呢，有说到其请接引我等往极乐。那这整句呢，前面的就是你们读起来应该是蛮清楚的。那关于最后一句呢，就稍作解释。虽然说呢， 佛的本质，众生的心呢都具有佛性，那佛和众生具有同样的本质，可是众生呢却在六道轮回当中流转，那是因为呢佛呢他已经发起了这个大悲心，对众生发起了这个巨大的爱还有慈悲心，那通过这样子的慈爱还有悲心呢，就可以帮助众生摧毁我执之心，然后一旦呢并且呢我们可以通过不断培养大悲心呢，对众生的爱一再的这样子去培养还有串习呢，我们自己的我执之心也会被摧毁。一旦我们自己的我执之心被摧毁呢，我们就有能力利益众生。当我执之心被摧毁的同时，我们也照见了自心本性。那这样子呢，也就因此我们有能力看到净土。所以呢，培养这个菩提心呢，才能够帮助我们见到净土。
네, 이제 저거 봐나요. 네, 이제 저기 뭐가 지금 저기가. 네, 아담시 장로 측에도 놀라 편서 사지를 봐서 새끼 탐지를 비벼 동동아 사지를 봐야지. 사지 탐지 뭐는 대답이 따로 나는 거래. 이런 속에 동시에 치대. 저기고 하나 이치해요. 오 사지를 저도 하고 버려야지. 랭이 다시 호박당 그러다가 이럴 때까지 랭이 다시 랭이지 나디 유머지 깔리 님이 처음 시와겠네 쇼보이마도 저기 호떡할 때 가보려 저 새끼 랭당돼요 대다로 무속에 랭이 세 원아 레달 동석 잡고 줄 거래지 랭이 세고 사질 대받지 거래 새끼는 무지지 거래 대다 동석지 사지를 대박이 왔다. 생기는 공격이 왔더니 좀 대답을 세면 깨나 이 사지의 통지에서 찬이 오착을 그래. 나도 저를 죽이어서 이 사지의 당직이 인기지. 아빠도 인기 내가 찾고 그래. 이 gün이 되니 뭐가는 인가를 더 마음 오지. 오 사지의 통을 제와가는 거 웅박 와서 생기는 보송지만하니 이 진짜를 때는 나중에 로또 들어가서 해 나중에 누구가 자동적으로 방문님의 차로님의 쇼하는 쇼송시 이 견에 되는 것이 생산비들 선바된 인지에서 아주 생산되다고 초규다고 전해진 차론 대전에 양수처럼 지와는 차송상 남이 주고 방문전이 남이 가서 장소 쳐라 나이 이거만 가서 장소 쳐서 치는 장소 쳐서 나이 이면가 되는지 니들이 또 봐내와 선사도 나가다 나동 재미 부담을 대사시 재미지 봐도 나이 이들이 나다서 세우대로 또 가져와나 편집을 따라고 욕이 로금 들어가 그리고 생기는 것도 참아지 봐요. 한번 이놈 이상한 생기지 봐요. 레더 유무와 다 타게 로알도 또 소소하면 생기게 설람을 따르더니 내가 나갔다 오지 또 봐요. 나는 아니고 참여하고 고요. 생 내력시 봤는지 이건데
And so then on page 29, in English it would be the second line, or is it the first line in English? Oh, it's the first line in the English. So it says, not wavering from the sacred bond, deity with great compassion. So we are supplicating to the deity not to waver, who doesn't waver from their sacred bond, from their commitment. And that is the commitment, that we always repeat when we take the refuge vow, when we say, may I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. I shall attain enlightenment so I can benefit sentient beings. So that is the commitment, that is the vow that we are invoking or calling upon. So we are asking them, you have this vow, so come here and help us. And then it says, please exhaust all negative karma and empty samsara from its depths. So exhaust the negative karma. The negative karma arises from the self-grasping mind. And love is the antidote to the self-grasping mind. And when we apply the antidote, then the block of ice will slowly melt. It will not melt all of a sudden. That will be difficult because we have very strong karmas and imprints in a mind stream. And so if we wish to exhaust our negative karmas, then we must give rise to faith and compassion. And so it says in the next paragraph, as I with intense devotion have thus invoked the enlightened mind, and so forth. And so then in the end of that, so we talk about devotion, and then we talk about light rays of compassion. And so that is what we must cultivate in order to purify our negative karma. Faith into the jewels and compassion for sentient beings. And that is what will empty samsara from its depths. Faith and devotion and compassion. And when we cultivate these, then the blessings, the compassion of the Buddhas will be very close to us. Then we will actually connect to the Buddha's mind with our own mind. We connect on the basis of love and compassion. And so then it says, the last line here, and then from the heart of Amitabha and dissolve into the hearts of myself and all beings, in the second paragraph. And so then we have sent out, this devotion, and love is radiated back, and this love that radiates from the Buddha, Amitabha, touches sentient beings just like the sun is shining. And then in the next line it says, self-grasping, misconceptions and delusion have collapsed in themselves, and so forth. And so then when the sun shines on sentient beings, the sun of love, then the block of ice of self-grasping on the afflictive emotions has melted. So here you can think now self-grasping has melted away, and now the mind becomes the mind that is like a free-flowing water. So when we cultivate bodhicitta, then the mind becomes just like a vast ocean. There's no more blocks of ice. And when the block of ice merges with the ocean, then there is no more division between self and others. There is no more self within the ocean. Within the vast ocean water, there is no duality. There is only a great union. And that union is the union of clarity and emptiness that abides like space. And therefore then it says, the state of selfless Dharmakaya is realized, and I rest in the nature of clarity and emptiness, free from grasping and elaboration. And so then when there is no more grasping to any duality of self and others, one realizes when all of the dualistic fixation have collapsed, you can see the nature of the mind. For example, even though you may see another person,